The Miami Heat, after their free agent moves, they brought in Kyle Lowry. They signed P.J. Tucker, who I think that was their best signing of the offseason so far.
Yo, what is wrong with you?
They signed Victor Oladipo. They re-signed him and have his bird rights so they can extend him next season. They also signed Markieff Morris, who I think was a good player on the Lakers. And Duncan Robinson got a 5-year, $90 million extension. I think the Miami Heat, with these acquisitions, I think they are the third best team in the Eastern Conference now.
I asked you to send that to me. She looked mad pretty.
I think the Brooklyn Nets are the best team in the NBA in the East, no doubt. I think the Bucks are the second best team in the East. Miami, to me, with these moves, they are the third best team in the East. You look at their starting lineup: Kyle Lowry, Oladipo, Butler, P.J. Tucker, then Bam Adebayo. That's a defensive nightmare, and I think the guy who makes it all work is P.J. P.J.'s versatility, switchability on the defense side of the ball. You saw what he did for Milwaukee. Totally changed their culture. P.J. Tucker said it. Milwaukee had a lot of dogs and leashes. They weren't unleashed. When he got there, he unleashed the dogs, and the Bucks became dogs. They became champions. And I think getting Tucker was huge for that, for being honest. So, and then you look at their bench: Hero, Robinson, Markieff Morris isn't too bad. They brought back Dwayne Dedmon, but then after that, it's very suspect. KZ Okpala, Max Struss. It's not too great. I think they can add one more player off the bench and they'll be solid. But we got to remember, this team was impacted by COVID all season long last year. They were the 25th offense, but they ranked top 5 in defense. With Lowry, with the healthy Oladipo, I think that's a top 15 offense at least.
Wow.
You hope that Bam Adebayo improves as an offensive player and can step out and hit a deep range shot. But I really think the game changer here is Kyle Lowry on the offensive side of the ball. 17, 5, and 7. Shot 44% from the field and 40% from 3. We know what he brings offensively and defensively. He's been taking the most charge since who knows when. The Heat are legit, and I think these moves have made them legit. They can contend if the top teams get injured. If the Bucks and the Nets get hampered by injuries or something like that, the Heat can very well make the NBA Finals. But if not, I see that they can make the ECF, realistically.
First of all, you got to stop with the P.J. Tucker stuff. You got to stop.
You have to learn how to appreciate his game.
I like these moves for Miami. You know, I think last year playing the Bucks whipped them. It was tough for them. I think realizing that their offense struggled, Jimmy Butler struggled. You know, I think bringing in Kyle Lowry was huge for them. Bringing in a guy who can score, who can be another playmaker outside Jimmy Butler is going to be big for them. A guy who could also step out and shoot the 3-ball. That's what they needed. You know, they, like you said, they were a top 5 defense. They needed extra offense. Kyle Lowry brings that. P.J. Tucker brings another guy who can switch and guard 1 through 5. Same with Jimmy, same with Bam. So I think that's huge, having those 3 guys out there that can switch and that can guard. I think that's big for teams like Milwaukee and Brooklyn playing those games. And I think, like you said, they're right there in that tier, right under Milwaukee. I think they can make Milwaukee a fight. I'm not gonna say they can beat them, but that can be a tough series. I think Philly, like you said, I think they're better than Philly right now with the Ben Simmons saga and them not understanding their identity. They are the third best team in the East at the very moment, and they can really compete. I think, like you said, that bench needs one more guy, but I think Tyler Hero, Bam, making hopefully another jump this year. Jimmy finding that jump shot back. I don't know what happened to it, but finding that jump shot back, but continuing to be that dog, that leader for them. Kyle Lowry bringing that consistency to the point guard spot. I really like this Miami offseason. I think they really improved after last year.
I think they definitely did improve, and I do believe that they will be a top 3 seed in the East as well. I just don't believe they have enough offense to overcome the Nets, overcome the Bucks. I just don't believe that with their leading scorer being Jimmy Butler averaging 21.5, not having another scoring option to average above 20. I get you bringing Kyle Lowry, but he's not a 20-point per game scorer. Oladipo's never been a 20-point per game scorer.
That's cap.
Oladipo has been.
When he made the All-Star team.
So one time?
Yeah.
No, last year he averaged 20 with Houston.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that part. I was thinking of
Indiana. Even Indiana, he's been injured, but he's been averaging 20.
So do you think he will average 20 on this team?
I don't know.
But, you know, I said wrong information, so I appreciate you guys calling me out. 100%. Thanks, guys. I just don't believe that they have enough offensive firepower. A top 15 offense isn't going to win you a championship, especially with the likes of the Nets, who will probably be the number 1 offense in the league. Milwaukee, who has 3 players that can give you 20 on any given night, 2 players that could give you 30 potentially on any given night. And they're still solid defensively. You lose Tucker to Miami, which definitely hurts. I will definitely acknowledge that. But at the same time, Milwaukee is still who they are. They have a solid foundation in that lineup. I still believe Milwaukee is better than Miami right now. I believe that their defense will be amongst the best in the league, but I don't think it will be enough offensively to get them over the hump of getting even out of the Eastern Conference. I look at on the West, I think only right now I would probably put LA, Utah over them right now. And come playoff time, I would take the Heat's roster over Utah's because Utah's hasn't shown me anything come playoff time. So right now, you're looking at Miami potentially being the 4th, 5th best team in the NBA. But I just don't think that offensively they have enough to get the job done to contend.
Victor Oladipo last year in Houston averaged 21, 5, and 5, shot 40% from the field and 30% from 3. When he got traded to Miami, he played 4 games. He averaged 12, 3, and 3, shot 37% from the field and 23%
He was great
from
defensively,
3.
though.
It's just, can you rely on Oladipo at this point? Truthfully.
You can't. And this is the thing. Oladipo is a sad story because since he got injured in 2018, we have been waiting for him to be that Oladipo again. And I think that ship has sailed. I don't think he will be that player anymore. I disagree with you in this point. I don't think Miami's offense is as bad as you think it's going to be. I think Kyle Lowry can average 20 if he wanted to.
Really?
Yes, he could average 20 if he wanted to. Last year, he averaged 17, and he took a back seat.
If they need him to.
He averaged 17 and took a back seat to Fred VanVleet and Siakam. If Lowry at any given night can average 20 to 25 if he really wanted to, if his main goal was just to go out there and score, but he's a do-it-all guy. He's a point guard who's going to get everybody in their spots. I think Jimmy Butler is capable of being that first option if you have a bunch of other options around him. I think because Butler has been on pretty good teams, his scoring numbers have not been amazing. But we saw Jimmy in that playoff run go insane. We saw him in the finals go insane. He's one of the best two-way players in the NBA. At the end of the day, I think Miami's identity is on defense, though.
Sure.
And that's what they are trying to accomplish. They want that foundation. And with Tucker and with Lowry, they brought those guys in. I don't think they're a finals team because the Nets are the Nets. They can beat the Bucks, though. I would favor the Bucks slightly, but the Heat can beat the Bucks.
I think
you could say that, but I want you to choose definitively. Bucks or Miami.
I would choose Bucks.
I think it would be a 7-game series between them. And in 7, anything can happen.
But who are you taking?
I don't like that answer.
I want you to take an. I want you to pick
I don't
a side,
like that
Ken.
answer. That answer is so when somebody wins, I told you.
So pick Miami or pick Milwaukee.
Like I said, I'll slightly lean Milwaukee, but Miami is right there. Miami is one Middleton bad series away from winning that series. And that happens a lot. Just this past playoffs, it didn't happen.
And they won a championship.
That much. They won a championship because the Nets were hurt.
Oh, my God.
That's a fact.
Let's just get over that.
That's a fact.
They still got to go beat Phoenix. Get over that. Please. They still got to go beat Atlanta. Please get over that.
You thought Phoenix was a fluke.
Yeah, but they still got to go beat them.
But you thought they were flukes.
And you thought Phoenix was going to beat the Bucks.
I mean, Atlanta
Milwaukee
were flukes
was
too.
a fluke.
Milwaukee wasn't a fluke. I said that whoever won that Brooklyn.
But you just said that because they got hurt.
No, the Nets. But the Nets are a great team. I said before, whoever wins that series is going to win a championship most likely.
But then you also said Suns in 5.
Yeah, of course. Because
I
because I wanted the Suns to win. But
so you chose with your heart,
I knew the finals was going to be the finals winner was going to be the Nets or the Bucks. That was their biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm.
If you told me Philly was facing the Bucks in the ECF, I would have been like, okay, that's a challenge. But as soon as you told me Atlanta was going to be there, Atlanta had no chance. Atlanta had no chance.
6 games.
They had no chance.
And they won a game without Trae Young.
They had no chance.
I don't think Victor Oladipo. I think Victor Oladipo coming in, he just needs to be a quality starter. I think with Miami's team with Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam, I don't think he needs to be the old Victor Oladipo. I think that's why he'll be fine. He just needs to come in, play defense at a high level, pick his spots, and score in bunches. I don't think he needs to be that 20 points per game scorer because their team is filled with guys. And with Miami, what we've seen in their last
Like
runs.
who, in your opinion? Like who? What are these guys?
Oh, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Bam needs to be that guy. Kyle Lowry. Duncan can fill it up one night. Like what we've seen from Miami is any guy on any given night, they can fill it up and the team feels the hot hand. And with Jimmy's a weird player because he's and we had him in Chicago. He can average 22, 23 points a game. He does so much for Miami in terms of being their playmaker, being one of their best rebounders, being their lockdown defender on the other end on the perimeter. So he just does so much that he doesn't score as much as he used to. But with this team, with having PJ Tucker, with Bam making an improvement, with having Kyle Lowry, I think he'll get back to that 22, 23 points per game because he doesn't need to go down, lock down your best player, then go be a primary playmaker, primary defender, primary rebounder. He doesn't need to do all that consistently now because he has a little bit more help.
So do you think with him being the primary ball scorer, if their second option doesn't average 20 points per game, do you think they're still championship contenders?
I think the only championship contenders.
And before I let you finish, because this reminded me a lot of the Raptors team. Obviously, you had Lowry, where Kawhi was the main ball scorer, and that's going to be Jimmy. But at least they still had Siakam, who still averaged over 20.
But it's different though, because with this team, you don't need somebody to necessarily. The difference with that was even when Kawhi left. And Toronto still had that great run.
For sure.
They just didn't have a fourth quarter guy to finish it.
Definitely.
Jimmy can be that guy. And with Miami, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, Bam, Jimmy can give you 15 a night. They're going to play great defensively every night, and a guy's going to step up. And they have a bunch of guys that can definitely step up on any night. A lot of teams don't have that. The beauty about Miami is also the continuity. Mm-hmm. Just bringing in Kyle Lowry, who's a guy who could probably fit in anywhere. PJ Tucker, who understands his role no matter where he goes.
For sure.
They're already going to come into a system that's already bought in. They already have their guys that's bought in. So two guys who seamlessly buy into a system is going to make it much easier. So it's really just fitting in Oladipo and getting ready for the, obviously.
For example, Bam averaged 18.7 last year, 19. Are we not going to say he's a 20-point per game scorer, averaging 19?
And they have the personnel to beat the Bucks. Not saying they're going to do it, but they have the personnel to beat the Bucks.
I think the Nets are just so far and beyond better than everybody else that if healthy, nobody can beat them.
But that's what it ultimately comes down to. We're asking
not necessarily because the Nets could play the Bucks, get hurt again, or the Nets could play the Heat, get hurt again. So it's like with the Nets, there's always injuries.
But with the Bucks, I think the Heat can beat them in a series. They can beat them in a series.
Agreed.
I wouldn't pick them over the Nets, but versus the Bucks, that's a great matchup, and that can go the distance.
Agreed.
But you still lean Milwaukee.
Yes.
I lean Milwaukee slightly because in the bubble, we saw Bam do a great job on Giannis. But then this past year in the playoffs, we saw Giannis completely dominate that matchup. So it's really on...
It's 1-1 right now.
It's really on what Bam are we going to get. And also...
But they have PJ now.
Yeah, PJ, but I seen PJ get dominated in Houston by Giannis. I think losing James Johnson, losing Jay Crowder to build up that wall, two big body guys along with Bam, hurt them. I think in free agency or in a trade... They have to trade for one more big body guy who can be the backbone of that wall or kind of be like that middle line with Jimmy being on top, that guy, and then Bam being at the bottom. I think they have to find a way to kind of make a game plan around that. That's why I think they can beat Milwaukee. It's all about how they guard Giannis. This past year in the playoffs, they didn't guard Giannis very well. But in terms of Holiday and Lowry, that's a very close matchup. You look at Middleton and Butler. I'm still leaning Butler over Middleton. Then you look at Oladipo versus...
They're probably going to throw Giannis on Butler again.
I was going to say, it really comes down... Jimmy's the best player. Giannis is the best player.
Oladipo, DiVincenzo.
I'm taking, at this point in their careers...
It's close, but I'll take Oladipo.
I'll take healthy. So I'm going to go DiVincenzo.
And then Bam and Lopez, I'm taking Bam. Giannis is really what sets them apart. And then their bench... They have Bobby Portis back, which is cool, but I think they lost Brent Forbes.
He barely played though after that.
He was huge in that first round series though.
No, I'm saying after that little that 18 explosion,
correct.
Pat Connaughton off the bench. They got back George Hill, but George Hill was garbage in Philly.
DiVincenzo was coming back. They didn't really have him for that run too.
So it depends. I mean, that's why Miami with Morris, Harrow, and Duncan off the bench, their bench is evenly matched with Milwaukee. They have to get one more guy though for me to feel comfortable in their bench.
They don't have a big off the bench, right?
It's going to be Morris
and
Dedmon, and that's why I don't trust Dedmon. That's why they have to get one more player for me to be like, okay, I can put them over Milwaukee. But because they lack that size, I don't know how that's going to match up in the playoffs if they face Giannis
Mm-hmm.
again. But it's going to be a close series, I believe. I don't think Butler plays that bad again.
I agree.
He played not even like half of what he could play.
That's rare
Mm-hmm.
for him to play that
Definitely.
bad.
Especially for a player like him who has a huge chip on his shoulder. I don't think he's going to play that way again.